Hi, welcome to another episode of Geek Lunch Meat. I'm your host Chris, as always, bringing you the latest geek news and reviews. Bit earlier this week, still on holiday, so I've got stuff to do later. So I thought I'd get this out of the way first. Next week I'm back at work, so we'll probably be back on schedule. Usually Sunday nights episodes appearing. Right, this week, what do we have first of all? We've had the trailer for Army of Thieves. I'll drop a link in the description below as usual. This is the prequel that nobody asked for. It's the prequel to Army of the Dead, Zack Snyder's big Las Vegas zombie Netflix movie that we had earlier in the year, which was reviewed it at the time, which was okay, quite entertaining, had a lot of unanswered questions and sort of strange things going on, which they filmmakers seem to have decided is the way forward to entice people in and go for a sort of shared universe, as everyone's trying to emulate Marvel's winning formula. So we are getting the animated prequel of the zombie outbreak starting in Vegas, and we're also getting the Army of Thieves, all about Dieter, the safecracker from the first movie, played by Matthias. I'll probably mangle his name now, Schweighofer. He's also directing as well this time out. Natalie Manuel from Game of Thrones is also appearing in it, as is Guz Khan, I noticed in the trailer, the comedian. So yeah, he's in it as well. It's strange because it's I say it's a prequel. Of the trailer mentions that they talk about the outbreak in Vegas, but this is more. Just looks like it's a straightforward heist movie, just using one of the characters, say from Army of the Dead. So nothing to do with zombies by the looks of it. So who knows? It could turn out to be a good heist movie. It could turn out just to be a sort of footnote, add on to Army of the Dead, the universe that no one really was crying out for. But yeah. Anyway, we had that trailer. I think it just said coming soon. I don't think there was a release date on that one. Also, Netflix also announced that Sweet Tooth season 2 has been officially confirmed. I thought it already had, but maybe that was just wishful thinking. But yeah, there's definitely a season 2 of Sweet Tooth coming out. The comic book based on a show based on the book by Jeff Lemire, with the virus has wiped out loads of people, and kids are sort of being born as strange animal human hybrids. I loved the first season, and was hoping, obviously there's a massive cliffhanger at the end. I've reviewed in a previous episode if you want to track that down. Yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I'm glad that is coming back. Obviously that's only just been announced, so don't expect that anytime soon. We also interesting news this week on Skull. What is Skull, you may ask? I haven't talked about it before because it didn't. No one seemed to know quite what was going on. It appears that Dan Trachtenberg, who probably best known for directing 10 Cloverfield Lane, and he's done some episodes of The Boys and Blacklist, I think, um, was making a clandestine Predator movie, sort of in secret. Apparently, this has been going on for about 4 years, so this would have been prior to Disney's buying out Fox, who obviously have got the Predator license. So he presumably would have started this under Fox, and this was going to be released as a secret, a bit like they did with the Cloverfield Paradox, where they just suddenly announced, "Oh, look at this film! Here's a trailer. Oh, by the way, it's going live on Netflix today." Presumably, they were just going to release this strange thing, because obviously the Predator franchise has sort of run itself into the ground in recent years with the abysmal The Predator from Shane Black, which was a massive disappointment. So yeah, I'm not quite sure why they suddenly thought this secret release was suddenly going to make everyone get excited about Predator again. But it seems that anyway, the lid's been blown on it, and it appears that Skull is the working title, at least, whether or not it comes out as that, of a Predator movie. There's a prequel that appears to have Amber Midthunder in the lead, the Native American actress who was in the Awesome Legion TV show. The only other thing I know that she's in is the is it called Ice Road, or the It's on Amazon Prime. It's one of their films with Liam Neeson. I can't tell you what her performance is like in it because I only made it 10 minutes into the film before turning it off. Very unlike me, I'll usually watch anything to the end to see if it gets better. But yeah, just absolutely appalling. The script was just, well, like, just, I don't know. I don't think a scriptwriter had been involved with the script. Some CG from like the late 80s, early 90s, and just Liam Neeson just hamming it up. It was, yeah, appalling, absolutely appalling. But anyway, I digress. And Mid Thunder was in that as well. But yeah, presume it looks like it's going to be a smaller scale film, a bit more going back to the original Predator, where it just presumably a single Predator comes down in, I don't know when it's set, maybe in the 1800s or something, taking on like a Native American woman. Um, it's very similar. There's some Dark Horse comic books years ago, and there's very similar ones that sound just like that. I know there's one set back in the Wild West, um, and I know there's one. I think with I might even be like a Native American or type person taking on a predator. It seems to ring a bell. So it could be good. Dan Trachtenberg, he was mentioning, was it The Revenant, the Leonardo DiCaprio Oscar winner? In it's sort of talking about it will be in that sort of vein. Obviously where like Leo fights that that bear and barely survives out in the wilderness. So it could be a wilderness survival movie with Native Americans and predators thrown in the mix. So who knows? Yeah, apparently that's coming at some point. We're waiting with bated breath on that one and see what happens. What else have we had? Disney released the first still of from Hawkeye, from the Hawkeye show that's coming out. With the release date, 24th of November, they confirmed, which we didn't know before. The still, as you can see, not the most exciting of stills. It tells us that Hawkeye show will feature Jeremy Renner as Hawkeye and Haley Steinfeld as Kate Bishop, who in the comics becomes sort of the next Hawkeye. That's about it. We know, if you've seen Black Widow, slight spoiler, you'll know that Florence Pugh will be turning up to put a spanner in the works as Yelena, the new Black Widow, possibly she is, or the White Widow maybe, if she sticks to a white outfit, coming to get Hawkeye. So yeah, not much more I can say about that. It's not the most exciting still they could have released, but yeah, 24th of November, that is coming out. Also, I suppose big news this week was that Scarlett Johansson is suing Disney for breach of contract. Now, she obviously, Black Widow, when it was made, when it was in production, was before the pandemic, and she had signed a usual. When you're a big shot Hollywood actor, you can get percentage points. Instead of just signing up for a fee, they'll if they know the film's going to do well, which obviously a Marvel Black Widow movie is going to do well, they'll take a percentage. Their fee will include a percentage of the final gross. Now, what she's saying is that obviously the contract stated that the film would be released at the cinema. Now, obviously, the pandemic happened, and Disney made the decision to go and release it simultaneously on Disney Plus with the Premier access. And obviously that is eaten into a huge chunk of the profits. The film opened quite well at cinemas, but sort of dropped off quite quickly because I think if anyone who didn't want to go out because of the pandemic still, or just wanted to pay 20 quid and invite around as many friends as you want. Now that we can here in the UK. Depending on where you are in the world, you can invite as many friends as you want round and all chip in and we'll watch it for 20 quid. Either way, obviously, she says she stands to lose sort of $50 million. So, it's interesting going forward for the for sort of cinema as a whole there. There's potentially, I think they said Emma Stone is now weighing up her options with the Cruella movie. Obviously, they did exactly the same. Presumably, she must have had percentage points in her contract as well. So yeah, she's now deciding what she's going to do. But yeah, so interesting for the industry going forward. Obviously, they'll have to start rewriting. If this is going to be the way forward, that they are just going to release stuff simultaneously on streaming. Although I suspect with the end of the pandemic looming, that they will just go back to cinema release because it's more money for them. Although on saying that, they don't have to then share revenue with cinemas. So who knows? So interesting times for the industry going forward. So yeah, see what comes of that one. And then on to Jungle Cruise I saw last night. So we'll review that. Jungle Cruise is based on Disney's theme park ride of the same name, which in turn was based on the old movie African Queen with Humphrey Bogart, where you take a trip down the river on a boat with a skipper. And then if you've been on the ride in any of the Disney parks, you'll know that it's mostly full of dad jokes, full of good puns from the skipper that makes the ride very entertaining and worth doing again because all the skippers tell different jokes. Now, obviously, this isn't the first time that Disney have made a film based on one of their theme park rides. Obviously, Pirates of the Caribbean being the most famous. We did have one to mention, probably less said about that, the better. So we get Dwayne The Rock Johnson. He's credited as Dwayne Johnson now. I know he goes by that name, but I'll probably end up keep calling him The Rock because it's easier. He plays Skipper Frank. Then you've got the always fantastic Emily Blunt as Lily Houghton, and her brother McGregor, played by Jack Whitehall, the English sort of comedian, sort of TV presenter, and obviously actor. The film is set in 1916, so obviously right in the middle of World War One. So we get some comedy Germans with amusing accents in the shape of Jesse Plemons as Prince Joachim, I believe he pronounces it. And also we get another villain, two for the price of one, Edgar Ramirez as the Conquistador. Aguirre, I believe, is how he pronounces his name. I mentioned Pirates of the Caribbean, and yeah, if you liked Pirates, you'll like Jungle Cruise because it is the exact same formula mixed in with The Mummy. So if Pirates of the Caribbean and The Mummy are your thing, Jungle Cruise is absolutely right up your alley. You take out the pirates and take out the cursed pirates and replace them with cursed conquistadors, and you've got the same thing. Take out Jack's compass, replace it with this arrowhead that everyone's chasing. Yeah, and it's the same. The conquistadors, the cursed conquistadors, look like you could easily place them into Davy Jones's crew. The way they're animated, the sort of the way that they've deteriorated over the years, and they form out of bits of the jungle, various different jungle creatures and the vines and stuff, exactly the same as the way the pirates come out of the ship, covered in barnacles and things like that. And then yeah, our three main characters, say Frank, Lily, and McGregor, are the three main characters from The Mummy. Rachel Weisz's character Evie in The Mummy, that is Emily Blunt's character in this, Lily. They are identical. The way we sort of introduced to them as being a scholar that's been rejected by obviously the male-dominated academic world at the time, and Jack Whitehall as McGregor, her brother. I mean, that is John Hammond's character from The Mummy to a T. He's an upper class, he's the female lead's brother, upper class English guy, likes his mod cons, whines about things, doesn't the comedy sidekick relief. To a T, it's literally The Mummy and the Pirates of the Caribbean bolted together. Family adventure movie. And if you like that sort of thing, which I do, you'll have great fun with it. It's got everything that you would expect from that type of movie. We got waterfalls, rapids, booby traps, cannibals, native spiders, underground caverns, people swinging on vines, everything you'd expect in a pulp adventure. No quicksand. Anything I could find. There's any trope they didn't throw in there. Everything else is there. They do a lot of stuff from the ride. All the puns, all the dad jokes are stuffed in there, and there's little nods here and there as to bits of the ride. So if you're a Disney fan, you've done the ride a lot. There's lots to spot. Yeah, the cast is great. I mean, The Rock plays The Rock. As I say, Emily Blunt and Jack Whitehall essentially play the two characters from The Mummy. you could argue The Rock doesn't come across as Brendan Fraser's character because he plays The Rock. Pirates had obviously Johnny Depp as Jack Sparrow, a very sort of individual character. Whereas as I say, yeah, and then The Rock just turns up and plays The Rock. So again, if you like The Rock, you're going to get more of The Rock in this movie. He reminds me of Arnie, sort of Arnie's career trajectory after doing all the big 80s action movies. Obviously, as he sort of went into the latter parts of his career, just doing all the sort of comedy and action comedy stuff, like Twins and Kindergarten Cop and Junior, maybe True Lies is a bit more actiony. But that sort of later part, The Rock seems to have sort of just ignored, maybe the wrestling, maybe his wrestling career was his first part of his career then, and then he's basically then gone, yeah, I'm just going to come straight in for the family comedy, and does it well. I mean, the man's full of charisma, and he's built like the proverbial outhouse. So yeah, if you like him, it's more of him. Emily Blunt is fantastic, as she always is. I know that she has said in the past, she sort of poo-pooed the idea of playing Sue Storm in the Fantastic Four movie. I hope that is just misdirection. I would love to see her and man and real life husband John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic. I think they've absolutely fit the MCU absolutely spot on. And she's putting a great performance. Jack Whitehall is the revelation in this. He wasn't in the trailers much, and I thought that he wasn't going to be in it a great deal. But to be honest, as much as Emily Blunt and The Rock are sort of the main two characters, he's pretty much up there as well. He's in it a lot, and he's very funny. And it's interesting to see that it's taken us to get to the 21st century, but Disney actually appear to being a bit more progressive, and his character is by far and away the most sort of blatantly gay character in a Disney family film, without actually saying that he's gay. They couldn't quite sort of pull the trigger on it. He has a conversation with the Rock about basically about his sexuality, and why he's will follow his sister to the ends of the earth because she stood up for him after he's been completely ostracized. And they never actually say that it's because he's gay, but obviously it's 99% intimated there. So yeah, it's quite forward thinking for a Disney family. It may not sound much, but for a Disney family movie, that's probably the closest they've actually got to just having an out and out gay character. So it was interesting to see. There are some bits that it does get bogged down in exposition. There are a couple of scenes where The Rock will just explain the plot, and there are some flashbacks, and it slows down a bit. But apart from that, it's pretty much it's exactly what you'd expect. It's chase scenes and fight scenes. It looks gorgeous. The cinematography. It's directed by another name for me to mangle, Joan Collet-Serra, who I like, who directed the Shallows woman versus shark movie, which I really enjoyed. It looks great. Obviously, it's very colourful. The jungle's very vibrant. The CG work is all pretty much pretty flawless. I can't think of anything that really stood out. If you've got little kids, it might be a little bit scary for them in places. You'll know what your kids are like. It isn't too, obviously most of it is harmless family fun. It is rated 12A over here, and you'll know there are some jump scares, and most of the scary stuff is around the cursed conquistadors. So say there's some little kids there might be a few bits that make them a bit nervous. Also, if you suffer from ophidiophobia, which I did have to Google, if you've got it, you'll know you've got it. It is a fear of snakes. One of the main conquistadors is his curse is he's basically made up of snakes, and there are snakes under his skin and popping out of various bits and attacking people. So if you don't like snakes, you won't like that bit at all. So maybe you might want to watch it on Disney Plus. You can fast forward or cover your eyes or get people to tell you when the snakes have disappeared off screen. But yeah, it's nothing groundbreaking. As I say, we've seen it all before. But if you like adventure movies, if you like family fun, then it was great, and it's good popcorn munching, switch your brain off movie. full of charismatic actors doing their thing. Yeah, I did enjoy it because I like that sort of thing. I know that obviously a lot of people might go, no, yeah, there's not much to it. It's quite shallow. And yeah, and fair enough. But say if you like that type of film, it's very good at what it does. I found it yeah, a great deal of fun. That's it for me this week. Hopefully I'll get to see James Gunn's Suicide Squad during the week, so I'll bring you a review of that next week, hopefully. If you like the videos, please hit the like button and subscribe. Does the channel the world of good, helps us grow. Until next time, take care and eat, geek, and be merry.